We're starting out great, guys.
As always, I can't check because I have my page marked. I can't touch anything on my phone. So you have to do
Okay.
it. Because if it goes away
You're
again.
live.
So Many Creations is live now.
Live.
You're live.
Oh, it's 11 on the dot. Okay.
Look at that. We're very, very prompt today.
So I know that normally we're like 11:01, 11:02. We have a lot of stuff to
Charlie's
go
here.
over today. So I'm jumping right in. So I'm
The only one
going.
here is Charlie right now.
That Charlie.
Oh,
Hi,
Linda.
Charlie.
Oh,
They're coming.
Diana.
All right.
Oh, they're popping in.
Guys, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. So I was not panicked, but a little thinking on Monday like, oh God, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I didn't have anything planned. You guys had some great suggestions, which we are going to get to. We're going to talk about so much stuff. But then a bunch of stuff happened this week, and so here we are. First things first, simple, easy stuff. The website has replenishment. So the rainbow metallic and the garden bloom cork are back in stock. And, okay, what?
I'm just looking at that bag.
It's cute.
Oh,
It's pretty.
it's good. Shh.
Oh. I'm trying to jump the gun here. Sorry, guys.
You're always, no, it's okay. Well, do you want to start with that, or do you want to start with the other thing that we have going on?
Start with the
bag.
bag.
Okay,
because
okay,
Wait
all
till there's
right.
more people for the other thing.
Okay, so one of the things that I have been doing, and I kind of hinted at this over the weekend, what I had going on, and also this might answer some questions for some of you that are, you know, when are you going to get this video done, and when are you doing this, and do you have a new pattern coming? Yes, to all of that, but I have a certain order of things I have to do, and this is something I finished that I was actually behind on, but it's done. So I want to introduce you to it's not a brand new pattern, it is a revised pattern that probably none of you have seen. I don't even think you two have seen it, and you probably know me longer than most of them. It is revised, and it is called the Market Tote. It used to have a different name. It's been changed. Barb's given it that, it looks familiar, maybe.
What did it used to be called?
Striped Market Tote is really, really,
Wow, really
out there. I know,
changed it.
I know.
Uh-uh.
There was a reason for it. We're not going to talk about that reason, because
No.
that reason is in the past, and we don't talk about the past unless it's good stuff. So this is on the website, and it is for free. Free download, so
Free
you don't have to
PDF.
buy anything. It is a free PDF download. So why am I holding a paper pattern? Two
people like
reasons.
Marlene.
For people like Marlene that can't print.
She can.
I can print.
She just doesn't know how.
Okay. For people like Marlene that just want to add an extra challenge to my day. How about that? If you need a paper copy, if you cannot download it and save it to your computer, if you can't print it, if you just want to hold a piece of paper in your hand, it's a pattern just like the rest of them. You got your pattern, your cover. There is a $3 charge on it, and I'm sorry if that sounds confusing and weird, but I cannot ship you something for free and pay for shipping. So the $3 just covers the minimal printing and shipping charges. There are also patterns printed because we have some kits on the website. So kit number 1 is here, and black is on its way. It's on the truck right now, on the way,
Thank
because we
God.
ran out of black
I
cork.
was going to say, I love it. Your samples with black, we don't
And
have
cream
it.
is here, and the black it's on its way.
Okay.
So does the kit come embroidered?
It does not. No, the kit, your kit will look like this. So the reason is, this was part of a collaboration with Janome, because there is a 4-part video series that starts Monday to go along with this. So I encourage you to download your pattern, gather your materials if you're interested. It will be every Monday starting the 28th. So Monday we'll be talking about supplies, a little bit about cork, some of my favorite tools like the pressing clapper and what I use for bag making. It's very beginner oriented. So we are trying to kind of reach that beginner level, which I know a lot of you are not, but it might be something fun for you to watch. It also goes through like fusing, your interfacing and stuff like that. Part 2 is going to get into making handles and the pocket. Part 3 is embroidery. So part 3 is all about doing embroidery. And this and this, these are built-in designs on my Janome 15,000, because as I told you guys, I am a Janome Maker, and we will actually talk about that today because it was a question that I got. So this is part 3, and part 4 is going to be finishing. So finishing tips, putting your bag together, top stitching, all that. There's no hardware, there's no zippers, there's nothing crazy. It's a super simple tote, really geared towards the beginner or towards an intermediate bag maker that wants something quick and easy.
I had a question. What time on Monday is it?
I have already pre-uploaded it, so it will be released at 8:30 on Monday, just like this video goes on YouTube. So there will be 2 videos for the next 4 Mondays. We'll have our Facebook video, and then we'll have our Janome video. Janome is also uploading it to their social media and their YouTube, so please watch it, give it a thumbs up, tell them you like me, send good vibes on the Janome page, make me look good, if you can do that. So there's 2. This is not kitted. I have no idea why, but it's not. The black and white is. And then we also have the canvas version.
Is that a little pocket
Yeah,
on
you
the
got
outside?
There's a
smaller-
pocket
you
on
made
the
the
outside.
strap smaller on that?
The handles are smaller because this is how yours are going to look. These I did not trim down. So these are just a little bit longer. If you want to do longer handles on fabric, you just need to get a little bit of extra fabric. It does tell you that on the pattern. This is just meant to be a cute little tote to take to the market tote. You get that. Okay.
So nice little tote, put your lunch in and your stuff
Exactly.
to go to work.
And I do
Very
not
work.
currently have a lunch bag.
But people go to, well,
I go to
working
work
from home.
and I use a paper
go to
bag.
work.
I use a paper bag or a Ziploc to carry my lunch. So that is up on YouTube starting on Monday. The pattern is on my website. I'm sorry,
And you said 8:30.
You probably don't remember this, Jess, but I'm sure
8:30
you
a.m.
do.
Monday?
8:30
Eastern
a.m.
time?
on Monday.
When
yes.
we were
Somebody
young,
just asked.
shoe bags to carry your shoes to school. We had shoe bags.
You can put anything you want in it. A full-size Chihuahua will also fit in it, not happily.
bags.
Just saying. So that is what I have been working on.
I never had shoe bags to carry my
I had a shoe
shoes.
bag.
So anyway, you can put your shoes in it or you
Anyway,
cannot. It's
whatever.
totally up to you. So that is on the website. If you go to the tutorials page, that's where you can find the download. There's also a place if you want to buy the paper version of it, and it's also on the patterns page. And there are 3 kits on the kits page. And the kits page, you can get the paper pattern or not get it, whatever you want. There's no extra charge on the kits for the pattern because we have some printed. So.
She had a shoe bag. Thank you, Bobby. You had a shoe bag.
So apparently we're talking about shoe bags. I understand the concept. I just don't know I never had one. So don't look at me like that. I know what shoes are. I know what a bag is. The shoes go in the bag. I get that, but I never had one.
When you wore boots, you carried your shoes in a shoe bag to school.
I did not. No, you
I
did.
had a book bag.
So did I.
did too.
I called it a backpack.
No, ours, but ours
Oh, we had a
were.
book bag.
But it
I
was
mean,
like a-
It was more like a tote.
Oh yes,
No,
yes.
it was more like a
Satchel.
yeah. But,
Anyway,
what's
I'm
the
going
other
to
word?
ignore them
Briefcase.
because we have a lot of stuff to cover, like a ton of stuff today. So I want to get through everything. So.
Here.
Do you remember make you wear pants under your skirt to school in the cold? And you had
No,
to take
because
them-
I was driven to school.
Anyway, so I am working on other videos and other things, and just in case you were wondering if you were one of the sweet, kind people that has said, will you have a video for this bag or that bag? I do have a plan. I do have a plan on doing a lot more videos. A couple of things need to be set in place before that plan can happen. And one of the things, I'm just gonna let you know in case you ever wanted to know, I did this 4-part video series, okay? So in total, it is an hour and 40 minutes. Just keep that in mind. Split into 4 is an hour and 40 minutes. I roughly estimated that I had about 12 to 14 hours of footage on my iPad and about 15 to 20 total hours of me filming, because sometimes I have to move things around and do different things and get set up. And then it took me 2.5 days to edit that. So if you're ever wondering, why can't you make videos faster? Because there's a whole lot of work that goes behind it. And I just wanted to throw that out there just so you know. I know that you're all patient and lovely and you just want what you want, and I get that. I want what I want.
But you do it all yourself.
But I do it all myself. There is no crew.
There's no
They
help.
don't have a part in
No.
it. No one edits them
Nope.
for me. There are some people that are very fortunate that have editing team. I don't have that. I don't think that I would
You
ever
wanna be
have
on the
that.
editing team?
Okay,
So,
you're the editing team.
no. So,
Be the light crew.
I don't know why. I'm like super uncomfortable today. I can't get my legs comfortable. Anyway, you don't care about that. So,
No, we don't.
nobody does. It's because Well, we'll get to this when we talk about one of the questions. It's because of what's under the table. So anyway,
Great.
so just so you know, that's just a little bit. I have come to absolutely love it. I love editing videos. As weird as it is, I'm one of those people that finds joy in doing that. Mostly because my mom bought me that really cool MacBook that's right there, and it does really fun things that I enjoy a lot. So let's talk about, are you ready? Are you ready?
Am I ready?
Are you ready?
Yes, let's talk about
I'm
it.
ready.
I have to give major credit to Barb because Barb did the majority of the planning on this. And it is because of her that we get to announce that we finally have prices and details for our in-person retreats. Woo! I'm so excited. So, I am not going to go over every single minuscule detail of it because it's on the website. But let me just tell you a couple of things just so that you know kind of what's going on. So let's back up first for just a second. We have the virtual retreats. They are not full yet. We have one in the end of July, one in the end of September. July is just past the halfway point as far as full. So if you are thinking about signing up, I would sign up now. Don't wait to the last minute. You might lose a spot or the listing might get taken down because we have to prep. Fall has some signups, but I know that a lot of people are going to wait because it's not until September. Next up, we have, and this is new, you guys did not know about this because we just planned this week. We have a retreat coming up in person in October. So it's going to be in Queensbury, New York, which is about an hour north of here. Barb has done retreats at both locations we're going to talk about, so we are fully confident in the locations. The Queensbury Hotel is our host hotel, and the retreat information is right on the website. It's on the virtual classes and retreats page. The Queensbury does things a little bit differently. So you will not pay us for rooms and food and everything. They do it differently. If you want to sign up and be part of our retreat, you will go on my website and you will sign up and you will pay your fee. That's all you have to pay to us. End of story. It's $125.
We call that the no frills retreat.
The no frills retreat. It's nice and simple. If you want to stay at, for us, if you want to stay at the Queensbury Hotel, you will need to contact them to book your room. All of the information is on the website. Included in that is not a lot. They don't include meals. We don't have a say in that. That is how the hotel does it. They don't include meals. But believe us, there is a restaurant in the hotel. There are restaurants in the area, walking distance, driving distance. You will not go hungry. And if you've ever been in a room full of people sewing, there's always snacks, a lot of snacks. We'll bring snacks. You guys will bring snacks. We'll have plenty of snacks and coffee. So read all that. All the information is on there, all the details. Now, Barb has a separate retreat business, and she has a separate list for her retreat. I am telling this to you, my customers, my followers, my Facebook and YouTube people. I'm telling you first. And when it comes time and we don't have enough signups, Barb will open it up and send to her mailing list, which a lot of her people are also my people. We have we overlap sometimes, and some people on her list aren't on Facebook. This is my retreat, even though she's planning it.
It's a
so many creations retreat. So it's just like the virtual ones where you're gonna work on your own. This is not a formal, we sit down and do a class for 3 days. This is a Monday through Wednesday retreat, just so you know, and you will work on whatever you want. If you want to work on a bag pattern, that is not mine. That is up to you. We can't help you. I don't know everybody's bag patterns. You might find someone at the retreat that's done that or has knowledge and can help you. It will not be one of us. I'm just letting you know. So it's the same as a virtual, except bring you instead of your laptop. You don't have to watch us through a camera. You can actually see us in person and see us for real. Like, I almost said touch us. You can, don't. But a hug is fine, but don't touch me too much. That's weird. No poking. So that is coming up in October. It is the 4th through the 6th. It's a Monday through Wednesday.
Charlie wants all the minuscule details.
All the minuscule. Well, I think I just rattled them all out. So, okay, no frills retreat means you sign up with us. You have to sign up with me before you call the hotel because we have a limited number of people that we can take. We can't have you just showing up. We can't have you booking a room and then saying, hey, can I get a spot here? No. So everything is on there. Pay for your fee, you're done. You don't have to pay us anything else. You'll call the Queensberry, you'll tell them that you're in the quilting group, the sewing group, whatever you want to call it, Barb's group. They'll know who you are. The rate is on there. You'll tell them what you're looking for. You'll sign up. They give you a voucher towards your breakfast, but that's it. As far as lunch and dinner, you are on your own, and we can help you. We are familiar with the area, but it's not going to be something that we organize. Like Barb said, it's a no frills. Am I going to bring a little pop-up shop? Yeah, I am. We're going to have so much work to do before October. Marlene's so happy. So we're going to bring stuff.
And we will have ironing boards.
We will
and
have
cutting
ironing boards, cutting
and
mats.
irons, and so you don't need to bring that kind of stuff.
Barb sets up the tables. I mean, we'll all be there setting up. The tables, you just have to walk in with your projects and your
Look
sewing
for your
machine
name
and
park
look
it.
for your name and go and come on in. So I will set up a little pop-up shop if you want to shop. If you want to shop beforehand and order something on the website, we can bring it for you. There's a cutoff date, but we can bring it for you so that you don't have to wait for something to ship. I know, you wait to the last minute and you're like, I'm leaving tomorrow and I forgot to order these 3 things. Well, we can bring it, it's fine. I cannot be making trips back and forth, so plan accordingly. If you ask me if I have something and the answer is no, the answer will be no until Wednesday. I can't go back and get it. It's a little over an hour from here, and that's just exhausting.
But for other stuff, there's a
for
Joann's.
other stuff, there is a Joann's.
Nearby.
There is a quilt shop.
Yeah.
We can guide you if you need something. That is number 1. Number 2 are 2 more in-person retreats. Now, a few weeks ago, I told you to save the date. And I am actually telling you to unsave the January date. We had to change it, and we changed it for your benefit. Barb was doing, some phone calls and, getting some information, and the retreat weekend that we picked in January is Martin Luther King weekend, which I did not think was a big deal because it's a holiday, but it's not like a Christmas, Thanksgiving kind of holiday. I thought it was just a day off, banks are closed, a celebratory holiday in a different way. I mean, no disrespect, please don't twist my words and say that I'm a bad person. But you know what I mean. Christmas, Easter, when things are shut down. Martin Luther King, a lot of things are and a lot of things aren't. Apparently for the hotel, it is a major holiday and the prices were out of this world. And I cannot do this to you guys. So we decided, since they had the week before open, that we would book that instead. So the retreat date has changed to January 7th through the 9th. I threw that out there really confidently, and I'm pretty sure that's it. I was super confident in that delivery. So we are going the week before. I just glitched. It was not your computer, it was me. So to make sure that the pricing was reasonable. So here is how these are going to work, because these are going to be at the Fort William Henry, which is in Lake George, which is a little further north than Queensberry. Lovely area, okay? So, pull up my pants here. So, listen, I am what I am, get over it. So, the Fort William Henry is great. It's up in Lake George. It's going to be, I don't want to say secluded, but it's a little bit further away than Glens Falls, but it's totally worth it. It's a beautiful area. You'll see some pictures if you go online and look. They do theirs a little differently. They have us take care of your rooms because you have food included. So in this case, it's going to work differently. You are going to, again, sign up and put down your deposit. You have to do your deposit before you are in and before you can do the balance. If you want to pay the balance by check, you can mail a check to Barb. Her information is on there. If you want to pay by credit card or PayPal, there's a separate listing. I have to do things because of quantities. And you just go on there and you're like, I'm in a single and I'm in the March retreat, bam, done, paid, out of the way. You have a cutoff date for January and March, it's all in there. So what do you get in this retreat? Well, you get us, you get this show. This is a traveling show. The cutting mats, the setup, all that, the pop-up shop, all the stuff from before, snacks, there's always snacks. But the Fort William Henry includes 2 dinners and 2 breakfasts. Lunch, you're always on your own. And it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But there is 2 restaurants across the street. There's stuff within walking distance, stuff within driving distance. And again, we can help you if you're not from the area. A lot of people that have been to Barb's retreats are super familiar, and maybe we'll get an overlap of those people. Maybe we'll get people from out of town. If you're traveling from out of town and you have questions, just send me an email. Try not to ask them here because sometimes I lose the comments. So if you're like, hey, is there an airport nearby? Send me an email. It's much easier for me to keep track and to give you information than on here. So We are so excited. I am so excited. Thank you. I've already thanked you, but thank you again. Barb, how long have you been doing retreats? 3, 4?
4 years, I think.
4 years?
4 years.
So this is her specialty. She knows what she's doing. I don't. I'm not going to try. So I was like, hey, I have an idea, but can you do all the work? And Barb said, sure. So
But it's been over a year since we've had one.
I know.
My
And
first one was
now,
in September. 4
now
years.
we
4.5
have
years.
3 in person, 2 virtual.
Yep.
When did I become the host of retreats? This is still boggling my mind, because if you would have told me that, I would have been like, I'm not doing retreats.
Maybe we should
No,
do it.
I'll go to retreats. I'm not hosting them. So, if I missed anything, or if I talked too fast, or if you haven't been listening, please go on the website, Virtual Classes and Retreats. I changed the name at the top. Click on it. All of the information is there, and if anything doesn't make sense, just send me an email. But it is all there for you. Did I get everything? I think I did.
So far, I guess. Yeah.
Woo! Okay.
Anybody has questions? They can
Any
let
questions?
us know.
It makes sense? Okay. Okay. That was so much. But I'm so excited. And I just, yeah. This is why I didn't sell
gonna
my
be
van.
fun.
Because I have to bring
That's
a lot
right.
of stuff
See,
up
that's
with
why.
me.
Yeah. there you
I've
go.
been contemplating selling the van and just being done with shows.
Uh-uh.
But apparently I need it for retreats. It's now my retreat van.
There you go.
It will not be as heavy as all the
Oh,
stuff we
God,
brought
no.
to
Oh, God,
shows.
no. It won't take us as long to get you
No,
ready.
for sure.
Hopefully.
So I'm gonna pull out my phone because you guys are really funny, and you had some great and also some comical things to say on the post that I put up when I was asking you for ideas, because I really did not know what to do today, and then all these other things happened.
Can I interject one
Please
question
do.
somebody has before you start that?
Yes.
Because it's not related to any of this stuff. Cindy would like to know a question on the HD9.
Mm-hmm.
Is there only one zipper foot, the one that comes with the leather kit?
As far as I know, and Cindy, if you were the one that asked me, I can't remember, someone asked me on that post last week, I did not realize until I got home that I had 3 more feet for my HD9 sitting on another table. And I was like, I do have a zipper foot. So it's a long zipper foot, like a long skinny one. If that's the one you're talking about, that is the one that I have. I have not seen if there's an additional one, but I did notice that a lot of people on YouTube especially, I think because we have like a different relationship than I do with Facebook, they were commenting a lot on the machine, like, oh, I worked at a dealership, I was a dealer, did you know that you can get this and you can get that? So if you haven't watched, or even if you don't want to watch the video, go onto YouTube and read some of the comments. There's like a bunch of stuff about the machine. Oh God, I don't know if I want to know. Do it. Is it Charlie?
No.
Oh.
Bobby McConnell says maybe you'll be even more successful and get a free motorhome to use.
It's like when you sell, what it was, that makeup, and then you get like the pink catalog.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll get a Janome red motorhome.
There you go. We could travel the country with our traveling quilt retreats.
Coming to a town near you.
How did this become what I do? How did any of this? How am I here for over a year? I'm blown away. Okay. Which of course then reminds me. So this is why I write notes down. That's very funny, Bobby. That is funny. I wrote a couple of things down before we get into the questions, comments, answers. I forgot to tell you some of the important things. I am on vacation next week because, as you can tell, I need one. Last year I went camping. This year I'm doing the same thing, and I checked in with you guys from up north because I am one of the few people in my family that has cell phone service. Thank you, Verizon. And AT&T does not have cell phone service in Harris Lake. So I will be checking in with you guys next Friday. It will not be a long one. The ladies will not be here. But I have a little something planned, kind of like what I did to my family last year. So we'll see. We'll see, because we're going longer, and I don't know who's coming on what day and how many I can finagle into playing another fun game. So I will see you next week. It just won't be for a long one. We are still open. Everything is still shipping. I just won't be doing the middle of the week shipping. Barb and Marlene will be doing the Monday and Friday. Nothing changes for you guys except a shorter Facebook Live. Yes.
One more question.
Yes.
Jimmy would like to know, where on YouTube do you look for HD9 comments?
So go onto my YouTube channel and go under either the Janome tab or the Facebook Fridays tab. Everything's in a playlist, and it's the latest video that's on there. It says Facebook Live whatever last week's date was, the 19th, and then look at the comments that are underneath it. Speaking of YouTube, if you follow me or you watch any of my YouTube videos, please subscribe. It does help me, and it makes me look good to YouTube, and it helps me in growing, and I'm so excited. I have 4,974 subscribers.
All right.
So yes, I know some of you are probably laughing, saying that's nothing. People have millions. But hey, I did this without trying too hard, and so now I'm putting in even more of an effort.
If you try, what's going to happen?
I know. So
when you hit, how many you got? 4,009.
I have almost 5,000.
When we hit 5,000, it's
Don't.
a giveaway.
A big giveaway, right?
Giveaway.
It is not.
Yes, it is.
No, it is not. I'm gonna. All those nice things I just said about her. I'm talking about YouTube. I'm not talking about the group.
Yeah, but
No.
Wrong.
So anyway,
oh well. It was a good idea.
speaking of the group, because Barb just loves giving my stuff away. She loves it. Marlene likes discounting it, and Barb just gives it
Marlene
away.
would like to
Take
throw
all
it
of it. Yeah, well, we're not going there. Okay? We have 950 in the group. And if you haven't joined the group and you want to, it is a lovely group of people who are always very nice, because we keep it that way.
Can you take
But-
yourself out and then rejoin and then be like the next number up?
That's right.
No,
Because then when we hit
because
1,000,
then it goes down and comes back up. But just remember, if you invite somebody to join the group, or if you are watching and you haven't joined the group, there are 3 questions. If you don't answer all 3 of them, you will not be allowed in. I'm sorry if that bothers you, but tell your friends. If you're like, hey Marlene, I'm gonna invite you to join this group of me because you like bags, and Marlene's like, I don't answer questions. Marlene's not in, so you got to answer the questions. That's all. Just a reminder. If you don't participate in Facebook and you're watching this on YouTube, I'm sorry, I don't have any other options for you. But please subscribe on YouTube, and please join the group if you haven't. And also, Facebook did an update, which I think is part of the issue with our microphones not working and my other iPad not working. Make sure if you're not following my page, which is where you are right now, it's not just liking it, but following it. Some notifications are not coming through to people for some reason, because Facebook loves to challenge all of us. So please do that. Okay, now I'm done. Now this is gonna be just a free-for-all. So this is kind of like an updated version of Free-for-all Friday. So I said, help, what should we cover on Friday's Facebook Live? My brain is mush this week. Still true. So in no particular order, I'm just going to read these, and we're going to answer them. We are going to answer them. All of us chime in, and you guys, because some of these I can't answer, and we have people that need your help. So help me help you. Help your fellow sewers. So, okay, I'm not going to read that. That's just about the time. Okay, no particular order. Shannon said, cutting tips. My pieces are never as crisp and even as I see in all the tutorials. And underneath that, Anne also said, cutting tips, how to bulk cut and cut them without fraying. So let's start with Shannon, okay? And then we'll get into some. I do bulk cut. I don't know if you guys do, but because I am like, the cutting part's boring, I want to sew. So when it comes to getting things nice and crisp, and we also have a pressing question, Shannon, so that might also help in addition to this. Don't be afraid to cut your pieces bigger. And they don't have to be bigger. Let's say that you need a 10 by 12 and you have enough fabric to cut a 10.5 by 12.5. If you need to cut a little bit bigger and then do your interfacing, let everything kind of settle, because I don't know about you guys, this is also a big debated thing, I don't pre-wash. So yes, sometimes steam and ironing can shift your fabrics a little bit and can give them a little bit of shrinkage. So if this is bothering you and you're finding you have a lot of issues with this, overcut your fabrics a little bit, just a little bit. Even 1/4 of an inch is enough, and then you can trim them. If you're ironing really hard, and I don't push my iron, I kind of glide the iron, but if you're ironing really hard when you're getting creases out or putting your interfacing on, that's gonna stretch and skew everything too. So kind of be cautious about that. We are gonna loop back around because there is a pressing question that I think will also help, but I overcut by a hair, just a little tiny bit. Or if I have my full piece of fabric, I kind of cut as I go instead of like cutting everything and then fusing. I'll kind of cut and fuse, cut and fuse. The fusing part and the cutting part are boring to me. I don't want to sit and do them. I want to break it up, and then I want to get to the sewing part. Now, Anne wants to know about bolt cutting and cutting without fraying. Cutting without fraying, I have not found anything in particular because it's going to depend on the fabric. If you're using canvas or you're using Essex linen, they're going to fray no matter what you do to them. It's part of the fabric. Whether you are perfectly on the grain or not, you are going to get some fraying. It's just the way that it is. Cottons and batiks are going to fray less. As far as bulk cutting is concerned, I do this a lot, and actually one thing that I do quite often is I roll my interfacing out underneath and then put my fabric on top when I know that I need both for a part, and I cut them at the same time because it's quicker than doing all the fabric, all the interfacing. And again, if you're overcutting a smidge, you can always trim them down. If you're going to layer fabric together, make sure that it is pressed, and make sure that you line up all of those folds. Put your fold towards you. Make sure that those are all lined up, because if one's skewed and one's straight, you're gonna cut wonky strips. And depending on what you're doing with it, it could really throw off your fabric yardage and make unusable pieces. So I constantly stack stuff, but I always make sure that it's pressed well first, and I make sure that it's nice and even and lined up, and I use my ruler, and I'm slow. Fresh blade. If you have a dull blade, you're gonna make a mess of your fabric. That's when it's gonna fray, and you are not gonna get through those layers. You're gonna end up getting those bumpy wiggles on the side. Put pressure on your ruler and cut firmly. Don't, take your time. Just get in there and cut. That's really the only way that you're gonna get a clean cut. If your blade's not going through, it's not gonna happen. And 6 is my maximum. I don't cut more than 6 layers. Not pieces of fabric, they're folded in half, 6 layers. 8 is too much, and I get weird edges.
Somebody has a suggestion about
Yes.
the fraying. Use a pinking shears or use a pinking blade on a rotor cutter. Diana uses a pinking blade.
Absolutely, and especially if you are going to do that overcutting, it's fine because your pinking blade is going to affect your size a little bit. But here's the great thing about bag making. Bag making is very different than quilting and clothing. Clothing has to fit. Quilts have to have the same size block. Bags, so my bag's a little bit, it's a 1/2 inch smaller than the pattern. So is my lining. Now they go together. So you have more wiggle room. You are shaking your head that you like to stack and cut.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You do not.
Yeah.
Marlene, absolutely no.
Nope, I do, yeah. The more I can cut it once, the better.
The better. So those are the tips that I have. If you have tips or answers to any of these questions, feel free to leave them here, please, so that everybody can read those. Okay. Karen said, and again, these are in no order. I'm just reading them right off of here. You have beautiful quilt patterns. Thank you, Karen.
Yes, she does.
Maybe a discussion on them. Well, that would be a whole Facebook in itself. And because I never talk about that with you guys, because I am the bag maker to all of you, I will plan that for a future Facebook, maybe sometime after I'm back from vacation. And I'll go through and I'll tell you how I got into quilt making, what I do with my quilt patterns, and I'll show you some of them. If you've watched any of our shop tours, I have walked around and showed you, but I'll do another one and we'll get into just a little bit about patterns. Quilting patterns. I did not realize that so many of you are not quilters until I don't know, this newer group of people that has kind of come on in the past few months. I did not know, and I assumed that you were all quilters. And every time over the past year, I'm like, hey, I quilt too. You guys are like, nah, bags. So that's why I haven't talked about it. But I will do a whole discussion on that because there is a lot, into how I got into it, why I do what I do, how it started, and why I'm not doing it anymore. I am still technically a pattern designer of quilts, but
Maybe
it's
you could get
been
some
a while.
people interested in
I might,
some of the
you know.
patterns.
So I will
They're
definitely,
beautiful.
Karen, thank you very much. I will definitely add that on. Okay. So this is going to extend on to Shannon's question. Cindy said, I got one. I'm going to read it just the way I hear it. How do you get the pieces that have interfacing ironed on without having wrinkles? And somebody else said, well, there's a Cindy Ryan and a Cynthia Ryan, and they are not the same person, just so you know.
Oh.
And Bobby said, those wooden lumpy things work wonders. Those are big
things.
clappers.
Those are the wooden
These
lumpy
wooden
things?
lumpy things, also known as
Okay.
clappers. I don't know where the name came from. I didn't name them. It's an old name. These are what I use. And I don't have an iron set up or anything right now, but I can tell you that I have done several videos on it. We did one, it was like the fall maybe. And they're categorized on Facebook and on YouTube. Honestly, I think it's easier to find stuff on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, than it is on Facebook. But I have done videos, and here's what I do. Again, I don't iron hard. I don't push my iron because it's going to stretch your fabric, and when you do that, that's when you get wrinkles. I take the instructions on the decor bun and I wad it up in a ball and I throw it away because I hate them. I use a hot iron. It's like linen or whatever the hottest setting is. I have steam in it and I iron on the fabric side. I try to stay off the interfacing side. Decor bond and fusible fleece are non-woven. They are not cotton. They are polyester interfacings. When you put a hot iron on polyester, it shrivels. So I try to stay off of them. But let's say, and certain fabrics are weird. Certain fabrics wrinkle more. Canvas doesn't really cause a lot of wrinkles. Other fabrics will. Batiks are some of the worst because they're such a tight weave and they're thin. So after I've ironed, I get a wrinkle in the middle. I take my pressing clapper and I either smooth it or I just set it down. This absorbs the heat. Your fabric is warm on the bottom. This is warm on the top. And together it cools slower and it flattens it out. This is the magic. And throw the instructions away. Get rid of them. So Bobby, you were right. She said, I think it weighs the glue and fabric together while it is cooling so it can't wrinkle. You are absolutely right, Bobby, 100%. And the wooden lumpy things are called clappers. If you don't have one, you can order one. Renee just said something really nice because she's sweet. And let's see, Patty said, I would like a few tips on making the mini Prima Diva wallet. I'm going to start mine soon. So, in case you're not familiar, the Mini Divas pattern, yours will be bigger than this, comes with two wallets, the Mini Diva and the Mini Prima Diva, which looks like this. It is a miniature version of the Prima Diva. So here's the best tips that I can give you for this. Number one, patience, because when you're doing an accordion style, it's a little challenging, especially if you've never done one before. Everything's smaller, less time to cut and prep, but more time to sew because it's not as easy to get your hands into little things like this. Follow along. If you have questions, let me know. And if you are really struggling and you really want to watch it being made, I have a full video on this one. It is the same, this is the same thing, but in a smaller version. It is a $10 video. It is on the tutorials page. But the reason it's for sale is because I give you measurements, I give you in-depth details. There's a lot of information in the video. I am always happy to answer your questions. I am not telling you you have to buy a video, but if you feel like it's easier for you to watch the tutorial, I do have this. This will not be a free tutorial unless somewhere in the future I change my mind, but as of right now, this is a paid for because I believe it's close to 2 hours. There's a lot of information in it. But as far as that, I don't think that it's a hard wallet. I think certain steps of the Mini Diva can be harder because it has a zipper pocket outside, but it's not a difficult wallet. Just take your time, especially when you get to these, and don't be afraid to squish it. When it's time to put it under your machine, and which is hard to do when you have the frame, but yours is not gonna have a frame. Don't be afraid to squish your wallet flat to get it under your needle. Use a bigger needle, try a walking foot, change up the feet and the needle that you're using before you think that you're doing something wrong. Sometimes you just have a bent needle. Sometimes you just need a thicker one. Sometimes that foot isn't working. So that's probably the best tips I can give you on this wallet or any.
Technical term, squish?
Squish is a technical term.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Just want to make sure.
Absolutely. Okay. Diana needs your help. And I am sweating. I hate these sleeves, but I'm doing it. Sorry. I'm sorry about my wiggly jiggly white arms, but here they are. So, I don't care, I'm hot. So, Diana needs your help because I can't help her. Diana said,
None of us can help.
none of us can. I
We
juried,
tried.
we can't help.
No.
Diana said, have you got any great tips about working with different types of fabric? Oh, Diana, I am currently struggling, an understatement,
Exactly.
to make a backpack with cork, faux fur, and a satin lining. My learning curve is steep. Tips would be great. So, of course, somebody else said, I also love this topic and would love to get more into it, but I can't answer that. So I personally have worked with vinyl, I have worked with cork, I have worked with canvas and heavier canvas, a little bit of waterproof canvas, a little bit of wax canvas. I have never made anything from faux fur. I was thinking, did I even maybe in high school? Never. And I have not worked with satin in a long time. I did make a formal dress. Yeah. I am surprised to this day that the strap stayed on. Yeah. And I'm not even sure if I fully hemmed it. But, because hemming is not fun. So working with satin, it was a nightmare because I was making a dress. So it's very slippery. What I would think, and do you think I'm logical? Here we go. Ready? I would think that maybe the SF101, something light that's not going to be super heavy, to maybe back your satin to give it a little bit of stability and crispness when you're cutting. As far as working with faux fur, there are several videos I've seen on YouTube with different ways to make sure it doesn't shed too much and how to properly cut it. If you've done this, please, does somebody have something for Diana? Diana needs help.
To PM her about cork faux fur backpack and she'll give her some info.
Perfect.
There you
Who
go.
said that?
Elizabeth Pisco?
Elizabeth. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth
I will not butcher your name.
No.
So thank you. See, this is our community. And I'm not saying like we built this, but I think
Yeah,
we
you
built
built
this. We built this city on
We
rock and
built
roll.
this city.
Oh wait, we can't
need some
sing.
background music.
We can't sing. Facebook will kick
God,
us
no.
off.
Yeah.
For so many reasons. So if you have tips, if you're watching it later, if you're on YouTube and you're like, hey, it was a pain, but I know what to do, leave them in the comments. I will make sure Diana sees them because she needs some of your help and tips.
And Diana, as Sue said, post a picture when you're done because we all want to
Yeah,
see
because
it.
we're all curious. You are our guinea pig. If I have the chance and I can do a little bit of research and play with that, I definitely will.
Wow. Somebody said with faux fur, cut it on the wrong side with box cutters, not scissors.
Oh, on the back side.
Yeah.
I have heard that before. Would that be the equivalent of using a rotary cutter, or does you're saying not scissors? Could we use a rotary cutter? Just curious.
She says use. This is Allison. She said, cut it on the wrong side with a box cutter.
Thank you, Allison. So, okay, Diana, we're trying to get you some help here. That sounded like you needed clinical help. We're trying to help you with your intense backpack, but we're all curious and want to know how it comes out. So group, we also have to help Katie because I also can't help. Let me read this entire string of this comment. You will love this. So Katie said, have you covered organization? Like, how can I store my cork or my fabric or my hardware? I'm interested in project organization as well, how to document projects or keep things together as you're working on them. To which I responded, I would love to cover this, but I have no organization myself. I can tell you how to be a bigger mess. And Katie said, community discussion day. So here we are. And Bobby said, Bobby, you are a woman of my own heart. Rubber bands is as far as I've gotten my organizational skills. I am right there with you. I was talking to my good friend Marlene, what did you tell them? What was your great organizational tip?
Throw it away. And get rid of your stash because you're going to get sick of looking at it. You're never going to use it. You want to buy new. So just get rid of the stash.
Marlene,
Marlene.
boo, no. Okay.
You're not gonna
Do
use
you have any organizational
I do.
tips?
I
Share,
do.
please. Barb has some tips for you.
I have plastic containers.
Okay.
But they're just piled to the ceiling.
They're
Just
sorted.
piled. They're piled.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're organized?
Well, she thinks
Batiks
they
are on one shelf. Cottons are on the other
Batiks
shelf.
are on one shelf.
They're sorted by color.
That's way further than I've gotten.
Yeah, and then there's 2 bins of each that is a lot of, large yardage.
Okay. So if you didn't catch any of that, Barb has her batiks and her cotton separate.
Right.
Because those are things that she likes. You might have different, styles
Yeah.
or different, things that you want to do. She has them organized by color.
In
She
the
has them in
garage.
separate bins.
No, they're not in the garage. They're in the dining
What's in the
room.
garage?
The car.
Empty bins, all the empty ones.
And
are
then-
You
empty.
moved them back into the house?
She has larger bins for your larger, a backing kind of size,
Yeah,
or if
right,
you're making a
right.
bigger project.
Right. And
I
then for
used to do something
projects-
similar, but I don't anymore.
Projects, they use clear zipper bags.
And I do that as well. And if I
Yeah.
don't have a nice zipper bag, which I have bought some over the years, like from Market, I will use a Ziploc bag, like a big one of those gallon or the 5-gallon ones, those big ones. And I will get everything pressed and fused and put it in there, put my hardware in,
Label it.
put my
Yeah.
zipper and label it. I do that mostly when I'm going somewhere to sew, to a retreat, a sewing weekend, or whatever it happens to be, so that I can bring them back and forth. I also store a lot of stuff in my car. To use every inch you have. Yeah. And Marlene will happily come to your house and throw out
I
all your
will.
stuff.
She'll throw out everything.
And then you won't even have to worry about it.
We don't let
Wait
her
a
in
minute.
my house.
Go for it.
I have an app on my phone called Project.
Okay. Tell
I
us
don't know
about
if people
it.
are aware of it.
An app called Project.
Called
I remember that
Project.
a long time ago.
And you can keep track. I can't show you. Keep track of your projects. I gifted it. I made.
It's actually
Good
really
thing. I know. I remember.
it's actually
from a
really
long time
organized.
ago.
So she
it
has
is.
her
So I
laptop
know,
case,
like-
tote bag.
You know, Santa wall hanging when I made it, Afghan that I made it, and it has all different.
See, 'cause I downloaded
hang on.
it, but never,
It-
I stopped using it.
It
all
has
the time.
all. Well, you can't see
I'm
it.
shocked that you have
You
it.
can. I mean,
With
it
this
says like
technology.
So it
you,
helps you.
It has a list. You can pick. You knitted it. You quilted it. You made it out of wood. You.
So if you
crocheted it.
have a smart device and you can download the app called Project, Marlene uses that. I just looked at it and it's pretty cool. So that's an
It is
organized way. And if you have tips, even if it's one little thing that you do, I found this great organization for cork or hardware. Tell Katie, because Katie wants to hear, and Katie's never going to get the answer from me that she wants. So you guys help her out, please. Okay, this just happens to be at the bottom, but I'm glad that it's last because it's the best.
Oh wait, so you gotta hear this one though. You gotta hear
Yes,
this before you go
please.
on. Diana said, my tip is to marry a woodworker who will make you cabinets and wooden boxes for organization.
Does he come out and does he
Does he
hire out?
deliver?
Tell Diana if they came out here to the retreat, husband could come.
He
make
can
us
build
cabinets
things.
in those times, and she can sew, and life is good.
And Sue says, Jessica, you have a huge room in the shop that Marlene keeps organized for you? Marlene?
Oh, no. Okay,
No.
time out.
No,
Time
no,
out.
no. So
Time out. Let's talk about that. You're talking about over there? Okay. First of all,
it's where Marlene's gonna hang herself with zippers.
that is my office that I pay for with my name on it, but these two run it. I have nothing to do with anything over there. They just do it. They just go, we moved these bins, we did this, we did that. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Buy bins, buy shelves. Okay, you're gonna get my credit card. I have no say over there. The two of them do that. However, there is one caveat to that. Marlene wants to throw everything out. That's her version of
Barbara stops
organizing
her.
me, and I will not let her. But sometimes she
Reduce it,
pushes me to the point that I say, fine, just do it. But it doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
But they do the majority of the organizing, both of them. That is a group effort.
Yep.
I will take no credit in anything that happens over there unless it's a mess or it's something that got purchased. They do it, both of them.
The
So,
ding and dongers.
yes. Dang does nothing. Ding and dong do all of it. Okay.
Dang,
No,
does
just
nothing.
wait, because this is a nice long one, and you two are involved.
Oh dear.
Bobby Bobby's is just, I love it. I love it. Bobby, you're speaking to me right now. So I'm going to read her the whole thing, and then we'll touch base on all this. I love seeing you unbox your cork and new material. Maybe you could tell more about your evolution into becoming a Janome guru. I don't know if I'm a guru, but that's fun. Fabric designer, and what made you create bag patterns. I have only been following you since January, so maybe you talked about those. I have touched base on those, but it's okay. We can always repeat.
Yeah.
How did you meet Barb and Marlene? No, it gets better. What makes Marlene gravitate towards exercising with four-legged friends?
Oh, I did kitten
And
yoga. It was so cute.
Did you take drafting or art in high school? So let me just go through the list here. So I love doing unboxings. We just don't have anything right at the moment because we are still waiting for tons of stuff to come in that hasn't gotten here. So I agree, and I love those. And Bobby, whenever I can throw them in, I do. So let me try to make this brief. How did I become like part of Janome and also a fabric designer, and how did I get into bag patterns? I'm gonna work backwards. So the bag patterns came first out of this. I was a quilter first. I did not design quilt patterns, I just made quilts. I needed a hobby, and I had always sewed, and I did not want to make clothes, and I made curtains for every room in the house. I was over it. So I started quilting for absolutely no reason. I don't know what got me into it, but that's how I started. I was 24 when I started quilting. I didn't know anything. I didn't have any money. So I didn't have a stash. And people kept talking about build your stash, pull it from your stash. What is that? I don't have one. So I started slowly accumulating, and then I felt guilty. I don't know why in my 20s I felt guilty. Now I'm like, I do whatever I want.
Yeah.
But I was like, I gotta do something with all this fabric. I gotta figure out something to do. And quilting is really expensive. Do you know it's like thousands and thousands of dollars to have something quilted? That was my 24-year-old brain. I don't know how to free motion quilt. I don't own a long arm. Those things are like $1 million. So what do I do? And if you have someone like Barbara or Eileen quilted, it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars. You don't have any money. I had no idea. I literally thought it was like $1,000 minimum to have something quilted. I did not know.
Wow.
I knew nothing. So I had a bunch of tops, and I didn't know what to do with them. So I was like, I want to make bags. Bags seem fun, and I'm girly, and I want to do this. That became a hobby, which turned into a business of selling bags, which burned me out tremendously, which turned into writing bag patterns because I could do it once and be done. And stop
Question.
selling bags.
All those
Yes.
quilt tops that you made that you couldn't afford to have quilted, did you use those to make bags?
No. Eventually they got thrown out because they sat for so long. And I also found out that steam-a-seam is really hard and you don't want to make a quilt steam-a-seam. I didn't know. I never took a formal class. I didn't know anything. I made it up as I went, just like bag making. So I started writing patterns with literally just the intention of selling the bag patterns on Etsy. Etsy was newer. It was like in the beginning stages. I hadn't even heard of it. A guy I worked with said, hey, have you heard of this website where all these like crafty people sell stuff? So I saw that there were people selling patterns and I was like, I'll sell it on there. I'll never have to print patterns. I'll never have to buy anything. I'll just write it on the
lie.
computer and you upload it and then you're rich. None of that is true.
That's for
Still not true. So that then evolved into me teaching and then teaching at shops and then going to market and going to the wholesale show to sell my patterns and my goods to quilt shops to bring them to you because I didn't know how to contact you. I didn't know how to get into quilt shows. I didn't have a website. I didn't know how to deal with you guys directly. So I was like, well, if I go to the shops, then the shops will invite me to teach and then they'll sell my stuff. And in doing so, that's how the quilt patterns happen. I'm gonna save that for another day. And that is how relationships were built with different fabric companies, and that's how I started designing fabrics. I was approached, we did 2 fabric lines. I am now working on a 3rd one with a new company, but I haven't told you about it yet because I can't. I'm not at the point where I'm allowed to talk about it yet, but it's getting close. So there will be a discussion on how I design fabric and the whole story behind that and what's coming up. And then moving into the Janome part was again contacts. When you are in this industry, you meet a lot of contacts. I owned a Janome. I bought my first one in like 2012. I bought it. I worked for a dealership. I fell in love with the machines. I bought a machine. I sewed on it for probably a good 5-6 years. Ended up teaching at a show. And when you teach at some of the bigger shows, they have sponsored rooms. Janome is one of the big sponsors at the AQS shows. They're like the big sponsor. They were my room machine sponsor. And I walked in and met this wonderfully just awesome girl who just was bubbly and awesome, and we are still good friends now. And I thought, I've seen you before. She was in their magazine ads. I was like, that's where I know you. I've seen your face.
Yeah.
My friend Miriam. So she was my machine person, and she was amazing during that class. I never heard a single complaint about anything on a machine because she would just very quietly walk around and she'd say, here, try it this way. Here, do that. She never interrupted. She wasn't a pushy salesperson. She was awesome. And I was like, I really like Janome. We got to know each other, and she said, I need to introduce you to my boss, Regina. You have to meet her because you need to be part of our Maker program. And the Maker program is what I am a part of, which is why I have my embroidery machine. I get a machine in exchange for giving them content and giving them, like, I promote them and they promote me. That's why I have this video series. This is part of my contract. I am not an employee of Janome, but I work with them and technically for them, but I'm not like a Janome educator. I'm a Janome maker. And in doing that, that's how I got into Janomes. And now I have really great friends within the company that it's, you know, we've just kind of formed these great friendships, and I get a really cool machine that I earn by giving them stuff back. So that's the long and short of how that happened. but it was all from shows, and that was from going to retail shows. It was the Syracuse show. Remember that? It was nice. It didn't work out well for everybody,
No.
but it was so convenient for us.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that's how that happened. And how did I meet Barb and Marlene? Barb I met first. Barb and I were in the same quilt guild, which she is still in, I am not. And I did the membership and she did the, I almost said the retreats, the travel. So we had to go to board meetings once a month, and I remember, this is one of those things you remember about people. I knew who she was. We had, chatted here and there, but no one ever remembered my name. I hate to say this, but I was the youngest person in this entire guild. I stood out, and no one ever knew what my name was. They were like, that girl at his membership. So I was sitting at the board meeting, and in comes Barb and another woman, and she said, hey, Jess, can we sit with you? And I was like, you know my name? Like my first name? Wow. And we just kind of became friends. And as this evolution of my business changing happened and I needed help, I kept saying, when are you retiring?
Oh my God.
When are you
Probably
retiring?
2 years.
I met Marlene because of Barb. It was at Almost One of a Kind, wasn't it? Is that how? I can't even
Probably.
remember.
No,
Didn't you
it was at Market, wasn't it?
I knew you before Market.
Oh,
That's
should
right.
be.
Then it
I'm
must have been
pretty
at One of a
sure-
Kind.
Didn't you take like a diva class or something?
Yeah,
Like
I'm-
those
some-
flowers?
Yeah. The
Flower
flowers.
class.
So there was a local quilt shop that is not there anymore, and Barb taught there, and I taught there, and that's how I got to know like Barb's inner circle and her group of friends. Marlene and I became friends, and when Barb and I were completely overwhelmed because I wasn't here and she was by herself, I said, we need another person. And she said, how about Marlene? I was like, hired. Done. And it was a blessing because Marlene is super organized. And Barb is really good at doing all the printing and the stuff, and they work together. And what Marlene does and doesn't want to do, Barb will do, so they kind of works together. One doesn't want to do this, the other one will do it, and they kind of have a system. I stay out of there because it's just easier that way. And I'm going to skip
We're a team.
I'm going to skip your question and we'll come back around to it about Marlene's four-legged friends. Did I take drafting or art in school? I was an art major in high school. I took everything from painting to pottery to any art class I could. My art teacher in high school was the most amazing man I have ever met in my life. He was everything that led me in the direction I needed to go, along with my guidance counselor who steered me towards being an interior designer. He was like, you have a math brain, but you do not have a science or history brain, but you're into art, math and art. And we talked, and I went to design school, and I have my degree in interior design. I did it for 12 years. I don't do that anymore because I do this, and it's way more fun and way less stress. And so, yes, I majored in it in high school, and I took art classes all through college, which is really expensive. If you or someone in your life is thinking about going to art school, it is the most expensive thing you will ever do because the supplies are endless. Oh, you need this pencil. Oh, you need this book. Oh, don't forget, you need this $200 book for art history.
Yeah.
Oh, just too much.
My son needed all that for graphic design,
Oh.
and
Yeah.
then his master's
It was just
degree,
so
and-
much. It was so much. So, Marlene, what makes you gravitate towards exercising with four-legged
four-legged
friends?
animals.
We
Because
had
I-
the goats, the kittens. What's next?
Hopefully
For the
puppies.
No, you'll
If there's
come home
puppies,
with
I'm
about 5
going.
of 'em.
I'm going.
Because I love animals. That's why. I
Yes.
just love
Better than people.
better than people.
She'd rather be with
I'd
them.
rather
That's
be
why
with
we get along.
animals.
I love animals. Yes.
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 And
rather
I
have
like
How
to
to
did you
support
find
animals.
these things and know that they were a thing? How?
Because when I took the bungee class,
Oh yes, she took
The
bungee exercising too.
yeah.
the bungee-
It's not all animals, folks.
I got on their email list, and they're the ones that did the one yoga with kittens.
Yoga with
to
kittens.
help get these kittens adopted, to raise donations for the animal shelter. We brought donations. People brought money. People brought donations, and just to get it out there that these kittens are available for adoption. I did not come home with a kitten this
Thank
time.
God.
But maybe next time. And,
You never know.
yeah.
Yeah, Marlene has 3 dogs. They're not all hers, but they've become hers.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say at this point, 2 and a
They're
half are
mine,
yours. Yeah. And cork came.
Ooh,
That's the black
delivery.
cork. It's not interesting, or else I'd open it on camera, and it's really hard to open those
Thank
packages.
God the black came.
The black is here,
Yay.
but those packages, the way they wrap them and shrink wrap them, are so
look-
hard to open. But anyway, Marlene was telling me after was it last week you did the kitten yoga?
Yes.
Yes. That the shelter and the people that own the yoga studio like kind of have this little collaboration where the kittens come in, and then if you want to adopt them and you get to see them and play with them, and it's got to be good for them too,
Yeah,
to get
it
them,
is.
you know, with people, which I just think is such a cool thing. And you guys know I love animals. Our first charity raffle, we went to the animals.
Yep.
Why is my husband outside of the window like a stalker? I don't know what he's doing. So anyway,
Walking by.
whatever, we'll let him do what he wants to do. So, those were all of the questions.
Well, let it be said, I don't get a lot of exercise done when the animals are there. It's more, let's
Well,
play
yeah,
with the
exactly.
animals.
I would not
I
be
saw
exercising
Maria
much.
Exercising and you playing with kitties.
I was playing with kids.
I mean, I told you guys we had a chipmunk in the office. I had one in my house. Like I like animals too. I prefer to pick and choose when they're around, not nature in my house. But so far we've been good for the past week. We haven't had any wild animals. That's been good. We just have our two maniacs at home. So yeah, so this was kind of a revised version of Free for All Friday. I hope that you enjoyed it because it was fun, and I love seeing all of your suggestions, and I take every one of your suggestions to heart, and if I can talk about them, I will. Like I said, I was honest. I'm not organized, and I don't sew with the things that Diana's sewing with, but I know that somebody there, I know one of you can help. So give her and give Katie your suggestions. Tell them what you do. Somebody, was it in the group? I think it was Sharon, not that long ago, posted this cool organization for her cork. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
show us that stuff.
Yeah,
We want to see
yeah.
it. I have a tiny little bin at home that has those little drawers. It's like a little like 9. I think it was a jewelry thing from like Michael's. I put my hardware at home,
Oh, yeah.
just organized by type, swivel hooks and D-rings in case I need it, but I never have when I need it home. I end up having to come back here.
My
So.
hardware's in a plastic bag, all mixed together.
Well, and then I can
But
tell
I
you
don't
how
have
not
the
to be
binder
organized.
either.
This is your pro tip on what not to do. Don't buy fabric bins that you can't see through and then keep
Oh,
putting
no.
stuff inside of them
No.
and then forget, because then like a year later you're like, oh no,
Yeah,
I have
no,
that?
no, no.
That's great. And it's too late and you don't need that now. So, you know.
Yeah, no, you have
That's
to have
the-
clear bins.
Yeah, clear bins.
Definitely.
So,
yeah.
you know, that's all I
You
can
need to
tell you.
store your quilts.
Yes.
Your
my,
finished quilts.
my quilts are stored
Yours
here.
are here.
Yes.
Mine are in bins under the long arm.
So I think that's everything, unless there's any more questions.
Do you know when you will have the Fiona kit with red and mandalas?
They are on order right now. They are currently on order, so I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks it will be back in. As soon as it's here, it will be on the website. I do have a cork order. It's being processed. It hasn't shipped yet, so that's coming. Black cork is right there that needs to be cut, and we are continuing to update and get everything. And I've mentioned this before, but just another FYI, if you go on the website and something says sold out, it is because it will be replenished. If something is gone and you're like, hey, where did the grape cork go? It's gone. It's gone because it was discontinued, usually by the manufacturer, or it's something that we're not carrying anymore. But if it says sold out, it's because I want you to know it's coming. I just need to get it back in, and I still cannot control shipping times. It's unfortunate, but I am still trying, and I can't. I have no say on that. So some things come quick and some things don't.
That's true.
Yes, and we're still
Very-
waiting for wax canvas.
God, that's been
It's
months
been on
now.
order since
Yeah.
February. So,
God,
yeah.
that's crazy.
So I think that's it. I will see you guys next Friday from camping. Be prepared. I will not look like this, but I will be comfy cozy hanging out with my family and seeing if they'll play along with my new game. Last year I made them try to put zipper pulls
Oh,
on.
God.
They are not sewers of any kind, so it was fun to watch them try to put zipper pulls on. This year I have another plan, but I don't want to tell you in case any of them are watching. So we'll see if I can get them to participate. Other than that, have a great weekend. It's going to be nice and beautiful here, and I can't wait to sit inside because that's what I normally do. And so, I'll see you guys next week.
Have a great weekend,
Bye.
guys. Bye.